Hey there guys, so thought I'd do a quick video on I got this little John Deere tractor a while back, and anyway it doesn't run, and we'll go over a few things that I've done, but it's a pretty cool unit. It's got the front end loader. It's a John Deere 400 1977 I hear it's been called. It's got the, where are you, there you go, it's got the iSave Tractors decal on it, so it's norm approved. I bought it, came with the little dump trailer, also came with the rear blade and a whole bunch of stuff that's been taken off of it because somebody was trying to fix it. Trying being the key word. So pretty cool tractor. It's got a 3-point hitch. The loader part of it works off of, it has its own reservoir. The vertical posts there are the reservoir and the controls, and the hydraulics for the loader work off of that pump right there that comes off the front PTO. So here's the story, is that it didn't run, and it still doesn't run. But something I found as when I'm working on old radios, it's like the first thing you look for is what did the last guy do, as opposed to what was actually built into and designed on the thing. So, and typically what you have to do is you have to undo what the last guy did trying to fix it. And that's pretty much what I did with this the other day. The guy said it wouldn't start, so when I got it here, I realized that the starter solenoid, the start solenoid had been taken off. The PTO neutral switch had been removed. There had been a whole bunch of things that had been taken off. So what I actually did was I just put all that back on, and I actually had a little bit of success in getting it to roll over. But there is an issue, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go for it, and that's what I'm going to be working on today. Is when it can crank over, but then it just hits like a hard stop, and I'm afraid that it's something in the engine, but it actually might be something in the drivetrain, and I'm kind of hoping to look at that today to see what it does. So this is the girl. It's got a Kohler 532 QS 2-cylinder, 20 horsepower. So this is about a 1977 is what I was told. I haven't verified that with serial numbers or anything yet. But what I've read online about these tractors is that if you can find one, buy one, because they're extremely rebuildable, very tough machines. They're built out of like actual metal and steel. The only thing I believe that is plastic or fiberglass is the hood. Everything else is actually metal, and so we're going to keep going with that. So I was able to, so I pulled the spark plugs out and was able to get the engine to roll over and verify that the engine does in fact roll over, the starter works, and that the spark plugs have spark. And so I pulled the air cleaner cover off, and I put a little bit of fuel down into the carburetor and actually got it to fire for a stroke or two on that little bit of gas. The issue is, and now I've got a little bit of fuel in the tank and I've got the fuel pump working, but the issue is now when I crank it over, it kind of hits like a hard stop, like there's a piece of metal somewhere that is jammed up against something, and that's what I don't know. My biggest worry is that there's something actually in the block of the motor that's stopping it from turning, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do about that. Although the engines are very rebuildable, I don't really have the shop, I don't have the tools, and I don't know what the parts would cost to rebuild that, so we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. So today I'm just going to do a little bit more of a exploring around, see if I can see anything external to the engine that may be causing it to stop. Okay, so I'm going to crawl down under here and look at a few things, and I'll come back to you guys when and if I find something. Okay, so here's an update. I did get it going. I'll show you that in a sec. And I was pretty much correct, as in you just gotta fix what the last guy did. So this handle here is the PTO engage, and you can see there's a cable right here, runs up through this pulley down and moves a pulley over into a belt off the front of the engine, and that's what causes the PTO to engage. Anyway, down there you can just see there's a switch right there that needs to be, so let's see if I can get this. So if I pull that up, I'm gonna do this. Can you hear that click? So that's off. So now I'm going to move. There, it just clicked. Now that's in the starting position, so I'll have to adjust that better, but that's what you need to do. This neutral position switch here has to be there. This is the high or low speed. I'll show you something very interesting about that in a bit. I've got the seat switch jumpered out because I had to remove the deck because I needed to get at that drive shaft right there to make sure that the engine was turning over. The battery right now, which I've just got sitting down here, voltage is at 12.59 volts. So about 12.6 volts there. So the engine was jammed, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you why or not, but I can certainly tell you. So the starter is right, you can just kind of see the edge of the flywheel. Anyway, so the starter gear engages right there, and the starter was bound up and it wasn't allowing the engine to move at all. So I forced the engine over, starter disengaged, the engine was free, and I was able to crank it. But every once in a while that starter jams up, so I'm probably going to have to change that out. Thing is with that is that you gotta pull the engine. No other way to do it. You got to pull the entire engine out of the machine to get at the starter because it's mounted to the bottom of the engine, which is a pain in the butt. Anyway, so I have it up on jack stands right now for reasons which I'll show you if I can get it started. It hasn't been starting. I'm not exactly sure. The battery, it's like the battery is dead. Maybe it's just a bad connection. I'm not sure. We'll just see if we can get it to fire up again. Okay, so that is not, well, it's just not turning fast enough, I don't think, because if I put a little bit of fuel down in the carburetor, I know it fires up. And I'm not sure exactly why, and again, that could be the starter dying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to get a little bit of fuel, and I will come back. Okay, so I got a little bit of fuel down in the carburetor there. Let's see what she'll do. it is. It does run. I don't know, that oil fill tube, I had to put some oil in it. Here, let's go over this side. As you can see, it's kicking out all kinds of oil all over the place, so I gotta figure out how to tighten that up. It's wanting to backfire, which it did once, and but it actually does. I didn't get actually. Let's see. I wonder if I can do this. See if it'll fire up again for me. So what you just saw there, this is the high or low speed transmission. High is that way, low is this way. This is supposed to be neutral, which means it's not supposed to be turning, but it does. And that's one of the things with these tractors you got to be careful of, is that they tend to creep if they're not adjusted right, or just because you got to be really aware of that. So if you're off the unit and you got it running, if that isn't working right, could just walk right over top of you. So you got to be very careful, and that's why I was screwing around with this lever and finally got it to go into a neutral position. But it's very careful. You have to be very careful with those. So anyway, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to do on this today. I'm happy I got it going. I'll have to think about what parts I need. It's good to see the loader hydraulics actually work. And they work off of the PTO driven off the front of the engine, so that's good. I didn't try the 3-point hitch hydraulics. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Let's I just want to take it sort of one piece at a time. It's got a couple odd cylinders. This one right here is the power steering assist cylinder, but I was underneath, and there's another cylinder sort of mounted crosswise as well, so it might actually have full power steering, hydraulic steer and hydraulic assist. I don't know. Like I said, one thing at a time. I'm happy to get it going. That starter does not sound good. I will have to be changing that out at some point in time, so I'll have to make, and as you saw, the voltage went down to like 12.4 while the unit was running, so there might be a problem with the charging regulator, which is an easy part to change out if that's what it is. It's trying to backfire, which means that probably the timing is off. I have new points for it, and I have a new air filter, everything for it. Now that I've got it working, I can start doing those little things and fine-tuning it. Just like when I work on a radio, you make sure that the power supply is working, you make sure everything else, you start at one end and you work your way through it, then you know that you have something you can actually dive into to do a restoration on. Same thing with this. Now I know I have something that resembles a tractor. Now I can start actually working on it to fine-tune it and adjust it, and we can start using it. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. It's going to be a really cool tractor. These things, like I said, I mean, it doesn't want to die, so I didn't take too much work to bring it back to life. And so we'll just keep going and update as we can. Thanks, guys.